All right. Well, we're playing basketball today. We're playing basketball. Basketball is my favorite sport. I like it when you dribble up and down the court.
Oh my God. I like the pick and roll. I like the give and go.
Fuck yeah, dude. I did not think you'd get the second verse on that. I didn't know anybody would even know the first verse, let alone the
Dude.
second verse. We got a rare occasion today where I'm gonna right off the bat I'm conceding. I'm conceding double teamed because Full Court Miracle was a full court banger. I was supposed to. I was supposed to come in and yeah, surprisingly, double teamed is not the banger. I was supposed to come in defending double teamed, but we're gonna give it to Full Court, and maybe we should just get into talking about this brilliant movie.
Yeah. So as we have stated, that we are fighting double teamed versus full core miracle, but we're not really fighting because full core miracle is just a better movie. Full core miracle is about a group of Jewish kids in Philadelphia who are on a struggling basketball team, and they get the help of a homeless NBA.
He's like not retired. He's trying to get back.
He's trying to
into
get
it.
back into it. But he was in the NBA. He's an amazing basketball player named Lamont Carr. And our main character, who I don't remember what his first name is, but everyone calls him Schlotz.
Yes.
He basically is trying to get the help of Lamont Carr to help make their team, the Lions, better. Just try and get them better.
Yeah.
And this movie takes place during Hanukkah, the
Yeah.
Festival of Lights.
Yeah.
And
we don't have no Christmas movies.
no
made the
Christmas
list.
movies on the Dcom debate, but one Hanukkah movie did
Yes.
make it. So interesting.
Yes.
Um,
Now it doesn't, but it definitely ties into the whole story of Hanukkah and everything, which I was very unfamiliar with. So this was
there's a lot of like religious metaphors and similarities and stuff that they bring into Full Court Miracle that doesn't ever feel heavy-handed in any way, doesn't feel like forced. It just feels like it goes with the plot. Like the writing of the movie is so good that it all feels very natural.
yeah, it's religion based, but it's more like inspirational.
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah,
based.
it's like a weird modern sports retelling of like Judah and the Maccabees and everything.
Yes.
Yeah,
Because they relate Lamont Carr to
To
Judah
Judah.
often, but then they also do Schlotz too.
Yeah.
Remember when the
Oh,
rabbis
yeah.
like maybe you're Judah.
Like Judah's inside of you,
Yes.
which is really cool.
Schlotz is awesome.
Schlotz is one of the coolest characters. I didn't even realize this until rewatching Full Court Miracle that his last name Schlotsky is a name that I have used in my writing before. I've written books, and there's a character in one of my stories that I'm writing where the character's name is Jonathan Schlotsky, and I had no idea where I had gotten this name Schlotsky from until I had rewatched Full Court Miracle, and I was like, oh, I've just had this name like in the back of my head since I was like 10 years old or
That's
whatever.
Awesome. You pulled from some inspiration from
It's
this.
awesome. It's so cool. It's a cool last name too, and he is he's played by the kid from Max Keeble's Big Move. And he's awesome. He is super likable.
He's on a grind, and he's making
Oh,
moves. He makes moves.
He's a hustler, dude, and he is hustling.
He's
like-
literally paying him from like his own like allowances and stuff.
Oh yeah, he sells his Dr. J card so that he can pay Lamont Carr to be their coach. He's just a really good talker. Like he's able to like convince people and persuade people. Like there's a scene later in the movie when Schlotz and his dad are trying to get Lamont Carr to rent a condo, and Schlotz says something, and Schlotz's dad is like, "You can't argue with that," and Lamont Carr is just like, "You can't argue with Schlotz, period." And like, and I love that, like stuff like that, because it builds out this character, and all the characters have really good arcs, really good storytelling. The only character who I could understand people maybe not liking would be the mother, because throughout the movie she's very like anti-basketball, but then
Does
at the
she at
end,
all look like Stifler's mom? Because I have here saying bootleg Stifler's mom. I don't
no,
know who looks like
she
Stifler's mom in
you
here.
know
'Cause
you know who she looks like to me? She looks kind of like a mix of Stifler's mom and the aunt from Sabrina the Teenage Witch, or the mom from
okay,
Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire.
yes,
She looks like a
yes.
mix between those two.
That's yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Um, but but I mean, even her, she has like a great arc at the end of the movie where she's really the one that kind of saves the day at
Yeah.
the end of the movie and brings Lamont Carr and his family to the basketball game to help the Mighty Lions win.
Mm.
And I mean, and I
That's
love
really
it.
where they tie in the oil thing
Oh
too at
yeah,
the
where
end
they
of the
have
movie.
yeah,
It's like the game, throughout the game, it's like they're having all the issues with like the
there's a huge storm, like a huge thunderstorm that's knocking out the power. And so the storm knocks out the power to the court, which obviously the scoreboard goes off. And so they use a backup generator, but the backup generator is running out of oil. And so they're like, I don't know if we're going to have enough oil to finish the game. And it's from there where you know that the opposing team are about to be assholes and run out the game
install.
clock.
Yes.
Um,
I will say there's some like with the last game,
mhm.
there's definitely a couple little things that I thought were interesting enough to point out that were a little funny. But
What?
I'm gonna start. Well, I'm gonna go with it. It was cool too, though, the way this worked. But that dance, though, I
Mm.
remember literally sitting back and just being like, "Come on!"
That
Like
is
it
that
made
is a
me
little cringe.
smile.
It is a
It's
little cringy. I will fully admit, but I will say that what helps it is that these are like sixth or seventh graders doing this. So like if I were in like sixth or seventh grade on the basketball team and we came up with this like mighty Lions chant, yeah, it's cringy looking back, but at the time you would probably feel like you're pretty cool doing that, you know?
Yeah, it was it like I said, it did work for
Yeah.
it. I had fun with it. Kind of it reminded me of Remember the Titans when they do like
Oh, a little
do you
bit. We
remember
are the
that?
Titans.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They got the whole thing down. So
Very
it was fun. But then there is like the point deficits in the
Yeah.
game were like they were like down by like 18 points with like 5 minutes left in the game. Like the only miracle they truly needed was Lamont Carr to come back and play for them on their team. Like, dude, you're not coming back from that 18-point deficit. And like these
Yeah.
kids are like they're like the best team to like. I mean, but it's a movie about inspiration. You
Oh
got
yeah. I mean, it's all about it's an underdog story. It's an
yes.
underdog movie, and I think it.
I for what I like that. Speaking of underdog too, I like that they had Schlotz, who's Max Keeble, right?
Yes.
Did we say that?
Yeah.
He's Max Keeble. He's wearing the Iverson jersey, which Iverson
Yeah.
was always looked at like as an underdog for his height
Oh
in
yeah. I mean,
basketball
there's
and
just
shit.
there's a lot of Philly pride in the movie. I mean, the movie takes place in Philadelphia.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
So it's, the Lamont Carr is going out for the Philadelphia 76ers. The card, the basketball card that Schlotz sells to pay Lamont card, or yeah, to pay Lamont is a Dr. J card when Dr. J was on the 76ers. Um,
Oh shoot, that's cool. I don't even think I really realized that.
yeah, so there's
Cool.
there's a lot of cool Philly just pride, which is really cool. The characters, like, I love Schwartz's dad. I think he's awesome. He's super funny. Um, the rabbi in the movie is super funny.
I love when they have the family dinner.
Yeah. Oh, when Lamont shows up for like the first night of Hanukkah or whatever,
Yeah, I think it's
to like
they're
the menorah.
yeah, they're trying to like get it to convince them to
Oh,
coach
they're trying to convince the mom to let him coach because the
Yeah,
mom's on like the
yes.
school board or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. and yeah, he has like the thing because with the milk. Like,
Oh yeah, oh
like
yeah.
he's literally eating a meal and he's just like, you know what would go great with this? A
Now, if I could
glass
just
of
trouble you for a
milk.
glass of milk.
And they're all just like, that's not kosher. Yeah, I think which they teach you about that too. 'Cause I
Yeah,
didn't know. I didn't even know that that's what kosher was. Like, I guess you can't have like dairy 6 hours after meat or something along those
something like
lines.
that. It's like dairy and pork are there's big things about that are
Yeah.
like big no nos. Yeah, so yeah, I mean it's really and I love that again they play it up as like a small joke, but like it's not offensive. No one feels stupid. No one's getting talked down to. It's just it's just a fun little
Yeah.
cute scene. Um,
It,
yeah, I mean I love Full Core Miracle. It's a movie that I remember when it premiered on Disney Channel, and I remember sitting down. I think it was like I'm pretty sure my dad and I sat down and watched it, and I loved it. It's one of I would argue that it is definitely one of the most underrated DComs. I still think that probably goes to the famous Chet Jackson movie,
mm,
but I think Full Core Miracle
yeah,
is one of the most underrated
right
DComs.
up there, at least right up there with the Judge Jackson movie. Because
Hmm.
yeah, I wasn't expecting it at all, and we don't like to concede our
And
movie.
it has its own original song too.
Oh,
Dreidel, dreidel,
yes.
dreidel, dreidel.
They actually say the movie title in the
Yeah,
song. It's like it's
yeah,
made for the
yeah,
movie,
it's
and
made for the movie.
it's yes,
Uh,
it's
it's
pretty solid.
awesome. It's so great.
And that's the thing. Like we don't want to concede movies, but in this case, this movie was that much better. And to say Double Teamed is a bad movie,
I mean,
I'd be like,
just look at the title, and the title Double Teamed should tell you all you need to
who
know.
passed that? Who at Disney was like Double Teamed? That's
They
good.
just did a big line of coke. Saw two blonde supermodels walk into the office and were like, "I have the perfect idea." And twins. This was like around that time too, wasn't it? When
Oh
the
my God,
twins
the
thing was
Twins
like,
commercial.
yeah,
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that had to have been right in the same, like at least within a few
it had to
year
have been around the
period.
same time.
Oh,
And twins.
the I think one of the biggest things I'm a stickler about in cheese. Now I'm just thinking of fucking light beer commercials from the early 2000s. But yeah, and speaking of a blast from the past, this movie's supposed to take place in the 80s, and that's
Hmm.
for a timepiece movie. I really like it to capture the time. I mean,
It
that's
does not feel like the '80s at all.
no, it really doesn't. And like thinking back, I know I watched this as a kid, and thinking about it now, it's like I I I just thought it was like a modern
Yeah,
time
it feels like
movie,
it takes
and
place in the late '90s, early 2000s, like
yeah,
when it was filmed and came out. Like it
yeah,
does not feel like that. And since you have already conceded, I won't harp on this point too much, but something that I do like to bring up in a lot of these episodes is the age
yeah,
of these actors. Um, one of these actors, so these girls in Double Teamed are playing 14, 15-year olds, freshmen in high school. One of them is 28. The other one is like 21 or 22. And they
yeah.
do not look they they look like models.
They don't.
They
They
look
don't.
like
Yeah,
adult supermodels. They do not look like high school
they don't pass for
girls.
14. And this is something. This is one that like I usually like to give the leeway on is the age thing, but this one's just like
It's
too far
egregious.
fetched.
Yeah, it's
It's
really
like
bad.
watching Pen. I don't know if you've watched Pen 15. I one of my favorite shows, but it's like watching that. You literally have two grown adults walking
Yeah.
around with
Like
a whole
it's
kids, and that's the thing. They
too
casted
noticeable.
everybody else
As kids.
kids. Yeah,
They
so
are
everybody
kids.
else was like the right age, and then you just have these people that are clearly like reaching 30. Well, no, I mean the one girl, she's in her early 20s, but
But the other
she's still
one's
just
almost 30. The other
yeah,
one's the one who the twin that I don't like that is a spotlight hog
yeah. Takes
is almost 30 years old. She towards the end of the movie, the reason why Double Teamed I think is just not a good movie is it's really boring for most of it, and then the last 10, 20 minutes is cringy and annoying. And so the older twin, the 28-year-old, sprains her ankle because she's putting a lot of pressure on herself because their father is living vicariously through his two
Yes.
supermodel daughters.
Which that's one note I always like to note on the parents that I don't like.
Yeah,
His dad,
he's bad.
anyway.
So she sprains her ankle like right before like the championship game or whatever, and so it's all up to the other twin who has said throughout the movie that, like, she feels like she's been living in the other twin's shadow.
Yeah.
She wants to do her own thing. She wanted to go out for the drama club, but the dad was like, "No, I'm going to live vicariously through you, and I never wanted to be in a play."
Yeah.
So you're
without directly saying that, he basically directly said that. I mean,
so he makes her go out for the basketball team, and she's doing good. She's like a star player. She's really good. So it gets to the last game where the 28-year-old has sprained her ankle, and the 22-year-old is.
I like that. That's how.
Yeah, that's how I'm gonna differentiate the two.
The one that looks slightly younger.
Yeah, the one that looks slightly younger, but is still clearly a model,
Yes.
is. She's doing good. She's like has like people guarding her. She's putting up shots. And basically, the 28-year-old is looking at this and is like, absolutely not, and goes to change into her jersey, walks out, stands in the doorway for like 5 minutes just to make sure everyone in the bleachers sees her, and then slowly limps to the court, smiles at everyone, lets them know I'm going in, and then limps her way around the court, gets the ball, travels a lot, spends 5 minutes of the last 10 seconds of this game fucking around, and then takes the game-winning shot. Fuck her.
Is that where you get? That's where you get that like meme that's been going around lately.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where you get the.
Oh my god. I love that.
bad.
I love that this stuff resurfaces though. Like now we're watching the Dcoms and shit, and it's like I just saw that meme recently, so it's like I want to see this movie again. I want to see how
It was
fucking
bad. It was
actually
pretty
bad it is.
cringy.
It was.
It ended up being
mean,
pretty cringy.
There's a few moments like there's a few things I can say. Like I said I liked the few songs that they had in there for the soundtrack, but then when I tried looking them up, I couldn't find them. Like at the party, they had like this like kind of like punk rock like Riot Girl sounding song playing in the background. I was like, I wonder who this is, but I like couldn't find it anywhere. So it's just like aside from that, they're just like it just it just didn't feel like it was in the 80s. The dad, I hated the dad. We like the whole thing with like them switching schools. Like it just doesn't feel like a
that
happy
was so dumb
story.
because that would never happen too. Because the whole reason why they switched schools was because the dad wanted to put them on the basketball team. But and the reason why
they were on the volleyball team.
They were on the volleyball team.
And he didn't. I don't think he wanted them on the basket. He just wanted a better school for volleyball.
a better
like in
school for sports, yeah,
in
because
general.
the dad from Luck of the Irish comes up and talks to him and is like, "Hey, I know your kids are freshmen, but college scouts are going to be looking at them," even though that wouldn't happen. So the dad is like, "Yeah." So the dad pulls the daughter out of drama club and is like, "No, college scouts are going to be focusing on basketball. You can focus on drama in like the last 2 years of high school when the college scouts would actually come to see them."
Yeah.
So that was stupid.
That's when you should be exploring.
Freshman year is when you should be going out for drama and doing all this other stuff. So that really pissed me off.
Yeah, and you think about it, like that seemed like what she was really more interested in, and she was basically forced into sports. And they're like, yes, and this is a happy movie. Which, whatever, it does have like the ending. They both get into the WNBA, but I mentioned this earlier, but like that's one thing that the ending of the movie, it shows them face off at the end in the WNBA, but they actually never played in the WNBA at the same time. That was just something that they did to like spice up the movie a little bit and stuff. So it's like there's just so much to the movie that's just like it it felt like just so whatever. Like it didn't even feel like this the actual story. Not like it just kind of felt like the story didn't even need a movie. Like it wasn't
didn't
that important of
feel.
a story to get a movie,
It
kind
almost
of.
didn't feel like a real. It didn't feel like it was really based on a true story. Like the the characters weren't written in a way that was believable, which sucks because it's based on real
Mhm.
people. But like they didn't feel real, and yet in Full
Yeah.
Court Miracle, Lamont Carr feels like a real person.
Yeah,
Like
I even had to look. I had to look up to see if he was an actual basketball player or not,
yeah,
which
like it's
he
crazy. He's
wasn't.
he's
But
not, but he feels like a real person.
yeah,
That's good writing. Double Team
yeah.
just doesn't have good writing, and it's like,
I even have I have something down for double T with I said the twinning thing in there felt forced because it's weird that
oh,
they're twinning, but at the same time they like kind of fucking hate each other.
yeah, the
So
like I remember like the scene where he's like, "What's up with this freaky twin thing?" They're like, "What freaky twin thing?" But it's like, yeah, like they're arguing like 2/3 of this movie.
yeah,
They like
like
don't like each
they're
other.
not on the same page at all, but
No.
yeah, they're on the same page because they're twins. Which
Yeah.
that's probably I'm not a twin. I don't know.
I
That's
mean, that's a
probably a
thing that
reality to
happens
an
in a lot of
extent, but
twin movies,
like
right?
the whole like them saying the same thing at the same time, like I don't know.
Yeah. It
I
was
was just
very
like
forced. It was very forced.
kind of just felt like a
Yeah. I mean, and again,
mid,
it's not.
all around mid.
Yeah, like it's not. It's definitely not the worst decom that we've watched, but it's just. It's
No,
not
we're
good.
and that's the thing. We are kind of trashing it like it is, but like it's just when we're comparing the two and even the four basketball
Hmm.
movies we have for our March Madness season we got going on right now. Um, it's it's bottom tier
Yeah.
of the four movies, and it's just you know it
No, for sure.
it doesn't deserve a poll. Unfortunately,
No, because
we are professionals at what we do.
yeah,
And we have to in this one it's just not close enough to bring it to a
no,
poll.
because I honestly I think that if we did put this up to a poll, too many people would vote for Double Teamed because full as we
Yeah.
said earlier in the beginning of this episode, Full Core Miracle is wildly underrated.
Yeah. It
Um,
would be an injustice
it
to
would
Full
be.
Court Miracle to let a a movie like Double Teamed go through. I mean, even when we made this 32 list, we hadn't seen these movies in forever.
Hmm.
Did Double Teamed even deserve to get the 32 list? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's
I
the
would
thing.
say
There's a lot.
Double Team definitely deserves to be on the bracket. It
Yeah.
is it's one of those DComs, but I think
Because but
it's one of those DComs
do we
that
only
you
remember
remember.
it because of
Yeah.
the name
Yeah.
Double
Well,
Teamed?
you remember it because of the name, you remember it because of the tall blonde supermodels.
Yes,
You
yes.
you know, you remember the cringy.
I'm pretty sure I thought they were in like college when
I
I
thought
was a
they were in
kid,
college
like or
too.
something.
I did
Like
not think that they were
I think
freshmen in high school.
I think my mind just didn't
I couldn't comprehend. It's like these are grown ass
yeah,
women.
yeah.
Um
Yeah.
so yeah, so comment, like, subscribe, follow
Tell
us
us
on
why
the
we're
D.
wrong.
Tell us
Blow us
no.
up.
Let us know why you guys are wrong if you think Double Teamed wins because you guys are wrong.
Sound
Um,
off in the comments.
watch Full Court Miracle if you haven't. It's a great basketball movie. It's a great movie about Jewish kids. It's a great movie about underdogs. Double Teamed. I'm sure you can find a porno with the same name. So
Jeez.
so
I'm sure you
yeah.
can.
Um, so yeah, comment, like, subscribe. Next week we are talking about High School Musical versus Luck of the Irish. Going to be a wild episode, and yeah, see you guys next week.
Later.